Why, hello everyone! Welcome to my channel. My name is Dax. This is Encrypted Angels Nursery, and today we have little Sebastian on. Yes, we do. We have little Sebastian, and he was given to me as a gift by a person who would like to remain anonymous. So thank you so much, anonymous friend. He's not new to my nursery. He's been in my nursery for a little while. So it's just been a long time since he's been on my channel, this little guy. And I thought I would go ahead and change him into some warmer clothes. So it's starting to get cold here, you guys. I had to run my heater last night and the night before that. So, yes. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and change this little guy, and I thought while changing him, I would tell you guys another spooky story. Although I'm not sure how spooky this one is. Okay, so let's just get into it. I have always had, like, some abilities to be able to tell things ahead of time before they happen. I just get feelings and premonitions about those feelings that I'm having, and it has served me very, very well. So one example of this, this is not the story, this is just a little side bit. One example of this is I was riding as a passenger along with a friend of mine. I was probably like, I don't know, 28, 29, something like that. And this particular friend of mine, she was driving, but she did not like to wear her seatbelt. She hated it. And of course, the law is to buckle up. And so I got this feeling that there's going to be some cops up ahead, or a cop at least one, if not more. But I saw a couple cop cars, or felt it, or saw it, or whatever you want to call it. It's more of a feeling for me. But anyway, so I felt it, and so I said something to her, like she was in the middle of telling me something, I don't know, something that she had done previously that week. And so I went ahead and told her, I interrupted her, and I was like, hey, you may want to put your seatbelt on, and got another mile or two, maybe 3 miles, I'm not sure exactly. There's going to be some cops up ahead, so I just don't want you to get a ticket for not wearing your seatbelt. And she just sort of looked at me. She gave me this side-eye glance, like, okay. And so she went ahead and put on her seatbelt. And she asked me while we were driving, she's like, so do you know why they're up ahead? And I'm like, I think they're clearing an accident. So, I was like, that's what it feels like. It feels like they're clearing an accident. I saw this from Binkies and Blankies. We show over at Binkies and Blankies using these, using some baby powder in the diapers to scent instead of using the baby wafers. So I'm just going to try that. And she usually kind of just pats it a little bit. I can see why now. I never saw the powder stuff go up on the screen. It's too faint to see on screen. Anyway, so she asked me why, and I told her why. I think, you know, they're up there and stuff. And I'm like, but they're finishing up, which is the reason why, like. Anyway, so sure enough, about a mile and a half, 2 miles up the road, something like that, and there were some cops, and they were clearing away some cars from an accident. And she just looked at me and she was like, you scare me. I'm like, I'm sorry. I really am. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna fix his hair just a little bit. It's been a minute since he's had any kind of, I'm gonna put a hat on him anyway, but still, I just want to treat his hair a little bit and use this little toothbrush to kind of comb it out a little bit. It's getting a little yucky. It's a little bit yucky, a little dry, a little yucky. So Yeah, such a handsome little man. Okay, putting a hat on you, I think that's gonna be good. Yeah, it's a mess back there. Okay. Alright, so on to my story that I wanted to tell you. So like I said, I've had this premonition, and oh, would you guys like to see the outfit I'm changing him into? Let me show you real quick. So this is the onesie. It says best snuggler, and this is going to swallow him. I already know it's going to swallow him, but that's okay. And it comes with these little cute pants. It has these little like panda bear, but it's like, do you call this a heather brown? I don't know if there is any such thing, but it's this very light beige and white striped. The stripes are very, very small stripes. Like I said, little cute pandas on the feet. And then this little thing goes over it with, has the long sleeves. It has a little panda in the corner. So, and this is Heather Gray. Heather Gray has a little brown panda sewn in the corner. And this is Carter's Child of Mine, and it's newborn size. And I think technically he'd be preemie, but I'm gonna put these these mitts on him. He doesn't need socks. He's already got the footsies, but I'm gonna put these hand mitts on him. And last but not least, this hat on him. Okay, so that is, and the hat is white, and the mitts are light cream beige color, kind of matches the pants. Okay, so on to the story, like my, okay, so this again goes along with having feelings, intuition, premonition, whatnot. And this time even shocked me. Like, I was like, whoa, you know, it shocked me. So it was around the same time period, around the same age, like I said, you know, 28, 29, maybe 30, maybe. And a friend of mine, or a couple of friends of mine, they had just moved into a house together. They just rented a house, and it was their first time renting, and so they had a housewarming party. Well, we're talking about, you know, 20-year-olds having a housewarming party. So, you know, we all know what can happen with those. They can get a little crazy sometimes. So, anyway, so we're just like hanging out, you know, the party's going along. There's somebody brought a, like one of those little, plastic pools that you can put in the water. A lot of people get those for either young kids or, dogs or animal, you know, their pets, to cool off during the summer. But anyway, so somebody brought one of those over, and of course with a bunch of drunk 20-year-olds, there's like 20-year-olds getting into this little kiddie pool and making a lot of noise outside, and, you know, I don't know, just stuff was happening. But nobody was being too crazy or loud or anything like that. You know, nobody was doing anything too crazy. So like I said, we were just kind of pretty chill, pretty relaxed, just sitting around. And all of a sudden I just got this feeling like, I better go. You know, the cops are going to be here. I better go. I didn't want to be there when the cop showed up. No particular reason why. I just didn't want to be, you know. Like, I just didn't want to be there. And so I went ahead and told my friend that I went there with. I told her, and I was like, hey, I think the cops are going to be here in like an hour or two, so I'm going to bounce. And she was like, well, I don't want to be here. I'm going to go with you. And so, and she asked me, where am I going? And I was like, oh, I'm just going to go down to IHOP and stuff and I don't know, get some tea or something. And she was like, well, I'm gonna go with you. And I'm like, okay. Now, mind you, this is one of the house owners that is throwing the party. So this is out of three. This is 1 out of 3 hosts. So she was like, well, I'm gonna go tell this other person who happens to be another person that is one of the owners of this house and another host. And so she tells her, and she's like, well, I don't want to be here. I'm going to go too. And everything. And so, and one was extremely skeptical. The second one that went was extremely skeptical. And I encourage, skepticism. I'm skeptical. So anyway, so she's like, I don't want to be here. Now, I didn't know it at the time, but she told us, like, give me like 5 minutes. I need to run to the restroom, and I'll meet you guys out in the car. And we're like, okay. And there was like 1 or 2 other people that decided to go with us that found out that I had this premonition, and they were like, okay. And so they also left too. So by the end of it, there's like 5 or 6 of us. We took 2 different cars. So there's like 5 or 6 of us that all decided to leave the party. 2 of them being hosts of the party / owners of the house. Anyway, I'll get to the part where it's like, well, I didn't know it at the time when she went to the bathroom, but I'll get to that. I'll unravel it as I found out. So we get to IHOP. We sit down at our table and everything. And the second person, she asked me, she was like, so why do you think the cops are going to come? And I told her, I was like, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a noise complaint and stuff. And she goes, okay, but do you know why? Like, why there's going to be a noise complaint? And I'm like, there's 2 guys there. I don't know if they're both at the house currently right now, but there's 2 guys there and they don't get along. One's going to find out the other one is there, and he's very intoxicated and is going to try to fight him out in the front yard. Neighbors are going to hear it, and they're going to call the cops because of disturbance of the peace and all of that. And so she's like, okay. So I was like, at least that's what I feel like. I feel like it's 2 guys who are going to get in the fight. It's going to be in the front yard, and it's going to alert the neighbors, and they're going to become suspicious and call the cops. She's like, okay. So we're sitting there hanging out, chilling, and all of a sudden she gets a call on her cell phone, and so she answers it, and like maybe about 45 minutes has gone by now that we're all just kind of chilling, hanging out, drinking coffee, tea, having a snack. And she's like, okay. And she gets off, and she's just like looking at me wide-eyed, like completely wide-eyed. She's just looking at me. And she goes ahead and she hangs up the phone, and she's like, you scare me. And I was like, why? What happened? She goes, well, you don't know this, but before I left, like, I went to the bathroom, but after that, I talked to one of the guys there. I told him what was happening, that we're all, like, a couple of us are leaving because you had a premonition that the cops are going to be there. And so she told him, like, we're all going to leave, and I want you to call me or text me if the cops show up, and also tell me why the cops show up. And he's like, okay, cool. So sure enough, cops showed up. He called her, gets off the phone, or she gets off the phone with him, and she proceeded to tell me, she goes, you were spot on. There were 2 guys. They were both drunk, and they were one of them was messing around in the kiddie pool. The other one pulled up, got out of the car, saw that he was there. He was already drunk though. He had just arrived to the party, but he was already drunk. Saw the other guy there messing around in the kiddie pool, or the little plastic pool, you know what I mean, the little pet pool or little plastic pool that they had outside. And so because it was in the front yard, so he got out of the car and proceeded to yell at him, and the other guy got out of the pool and started yelling at him, and then they started throwing fists. So Yep, they started throwing fists, and sure enough, neighbors called the cops. Cops came. It was spot on. Exactly what I said. It was spot on. It was exactly why they showed up. And so those are two people who have both been scared by my intuitive abilities. I can't make it happen at will. It's a gift. It's not a power. I can't use it at will, per se. So when I get these strong premonitions, I'm not using anything. Like, I do card readings. I do card readings. I've been doing card readings since I was like 16, 17 years old. And those have always been, you know, pretty accurate. And I've got like I would say like 85 to 90% accuracy, somewhere around there, with card readings. Again, it's not all the time. And although I can try to do a card reading for somebody, I can't always promise the information is going to be as accurate as other information. I don't know how to explain it. So it's not a power I can just wield at any time I want to use it. It's a gift. It's I'll get premonitions about things here and there. Usually it's just about little things, you know, so just little littler things. But yeah, that is the time that it even shocked me. It didn't scare me. I'm not scared of my ability when these premonitions happen. I believe they come from God. And that God has gifted me for some reason with somewhat premonitional abilities. There's premonitional dreams I've had. There's things I've been able to tell that's going to happen ahead of time before it happens. All kinds of different things throughout my past of things of this sort. But yeah, so I've always been a sensitive, I guess you could say. I've always been sensitive. I've always been able to tell when bigger things are about to happen. Like, I've known when boyfriends were going to break up with me before they did, or I knew about my parents' divorce before they got divorced. Like a year and a half to 2 years before they got divorced, I had a premonition about it and a feeling about it. And then they kept on going on being married, so I thought maybe I was wrong. And then they got a divorce, and I was like, oh, I guess that was right. So I've always had these abilities. You know, again, they just sort of come to me. It's not something I'm trying to do. It's my most powerful premonitions have been when they just come to me. Be sure to tune in next Monday, where I will have a fresh new Disney Trivia Monday for you. I put a poll in my community tab if you haven't already checked it out. It's not too late. Please go ahead and check it out. Today is the last day that I'm running the poll because I've got to start my research this weekend, and also film and edit. Do all the things before Monday. And last but not least, I am doing a 555 subscriber giveaway. I will be giving away 5 prizes. So if you haven't already, go ahead and click that subscribe button below. There are many other videos where I have described what the prizes are. I'm not going to go over all 5 of them in this one, but I will go over all 5 of them again here shortly. Just not in this particular video. I think this video is already long enough. Alright guys, well that does it for today. We hope to see you on Monday, and I hope you guys all have a doll-tastic weekend. Thank you so much for being here, and Sebastian and I will see you next time. Say bye-bye. Bye guys. I'm gonna continue now things. You know, I'm gonna continue now.